On June 30th, 2026, Rich Paul made a phone call that cost LeBron James $52 million. Clutch Sports told ESPN that LeBron informed the Lakers he was done after 8 seasons. Most people hear that and think he's lost his mind, but LeBron's not like most athletes. His net worth is somewhere around $1.4 billion, and his NBA salary is now the smallest piece of the puzzle when you look at the full spreadsheet. Leaving $50 million on the table isn't a sacrifice, it's a strategy. June 30th wasn't just another summer day for the NBA. It was the day the league's all-time leading scorer picked up the phone and changed the entire business map in a single afternoon conversation. Rich Paul, CEO of Clutch Sports, called ESPN's Shams Charania and delivered the news straight to the public. LeBron James told the Los Angeles Lakers he would play elsewhere for his 24th NBA season. The marriage ended. He spent 8 years there, won 1 championship in 2020, and generated countless headlines that shaped the league's entire business story before this chapter finally closed. The number hanging in the air was $52.6 million. That money represented the player option LeBron walked away from. He didn't decline it, didn't restructure it, and simply left it behind. For almost any other player in the league, that kind of money represents the entire career, the house, the cars, and everything they'll ever earn combined. For LeBron, it was a Tuesday. Free agency froze. All 29 other teams stopped what they were doing and waited. When LeBron moves, the whole business shifts with him. This wasn't his first rodeo. He left Cleveland for Miami in 2010 and broke the sports business internet. He returned to Cleveland in 2014 and sent jersey sales through the roof. Then he signed with Los Angeles in 2018 and turned the Lakers into a global media machine. Every move came with a financial earthquake. This one promised to be the biggest yet. He's 41 years old, and he already climbed to the top of the NBA's all-time scoring list with 4 MVP trophies and 4 championship rings to his name. None of that changes the math. He just walked away from the largest single-season paycheck of his entire 8-year Lakers career, and he did it without even blinking. But to understand why $52 million doesn't scare LeBron, you have to see the gap between what he was making and what he's about to make. The Lakers offered him a player option worth $52.6 million for the 2026-2027 season. That money sat on a desk in Los Angeles. It wasn't a projection. It wasn't a rumor. It was real. Now look at what his new team can actually pay him. At 41 years old, entering his 24th season, LeBron isn't getting another max contract. The realistic range is a veteran minimum deal around $3.3 million, or a mid-level exception hovering near $12.8 million. Some insiders think a short-term deal around $20 million is possible if a team tries something creative. Even then, the gap between $52 million and $20 million is $32 million left on the table in a single season. CBS Sports reported on July 1st that every team in the league technically has a shot, but LeBron's willingness to sacrifice financially determines which destinations are actually realistic. Forbes noted back in June that the Lakers could have gained upward of $50 million in salary cap space simply by cutting all ties with him and moving on. So both sides knew the divorce was coming. The only question was who'd say it first. For perspective, most NBA players earn a fraction of that amount across their entire career. LeBron is walking away from several lifetimes worth of income in a single season. Most players would never dream of this. They'd sign the $52 million, buy the house, and sleep just fine. But LeBron stopped thinking like a player a long time ago. He thinks like a CEO, and CEOs don't get emotional about one line item on a balance sheet. That willingness to absorb a massive pay cut is what separates a billionaire athlete from a wealthy one. Brian Windhorst put it plainly in a Yahoo Sports piece from mid-June. He explained that the only way LeBron takes less money is if a team treats it as a partnership, not a paycheck. That tells you everything. LeBron isn't looking for a raise. He's looking for more control. Where you play matters almost as much as how much they pay you. California's state income tax rate tops out at 13.3%, which is the highest in the entire country. If LeBron had stayed in Los Angeles and collected that $52 million, the state of California would have taken roughly $7 million off the top before he even saw a cent. And that's just state tax. because federal tax, Medicare surcharges, and the jock tax would have piled on from there. The jock tax is one of those hidden mechanics most fans never think about. Every time an NBA player steps onto a court in another state, that state can tax their earnings for that game, and it adds up faster than you'd expect. It's calculated using a duty day formula that splits the season into home days and road days. So even a Laker pays tax in Texas, Florida, and New York when he visits those arenas. But the bulk of the bill still lands in your home state, and residency is where the real damage happens. Now imagine LeBron signs with a team in Texas, Florida, Tennessee, or Nevada. Those states collect zero state income tax. The Tax Foundation and multiple state guides confirm these rates for 2026. If he lands in Miami or Dallas or even Orlando, he keeps every dollar the state would have swallowed in California. On a $12 million contract, the difference between California and a no-tax state is well over $1 million in his pocket. On endorsement income and business revenue that still flows during the off-season, that 13.3% savings applies to every check. So the $50 million gap we talked about shrinks fast once you run it through the tax filter. A $52 million contract in Los Angeles probably leaves him with something in the mid-30s once state tax, federal tax, and the jock tax all come out. A $12 million deal in Miami nets him $8 or $9 million. The raw numbers look ridiculous, but the take-home gap is a lot narrower than the headlines suggest. And here's the angle almost nobody talks about. Taxes are just a rounding error compared to what's sitting off the court. LeBron's net worth sits somewhere between $1.2 billion and $1.4 billion, according to Forbes in 2026, which makes him the first active NBA billionaire while still lacing up his sneakers. That means his salary isn't his income, it's barely his lunch money. Here's the real money. Spring Hill Company, his media and production firm, carried a valuation of $725 million back in 2021 after a major investment round. The deal brought in Nike, Redbird Capital, Epic Games, and Fenway Sports Group. LeBron and his business partner Maverick Carter kept majority ownership. That valuation has almost certainly climbed since then, and his equity stake alone sits somewhere in the hundreds of millions. And that was just the warm-up. Then there's Fenway Sports Group. LeBron originally held a 2% stake in Liverpool Football Club, and he traded that for roughly 1% of Fenway Sports Group itself. Basketball Network estimated in January 2026 that this stake is now worth around $142 million, which means a single investment returned more than 20 times its original value. It's still growing. He'd barely scratched the surface. Blaze Pizza proved a textbook case when LeBron turned a modest marketing partnership into an actual ownership stake while other athletes were busy cashing their endorsement checks instead of building something they could own. The chain expanded from a handful of locations to hundreds across the country, and his piece of it multiplied right alongside the growth. But the biggest deal was still waiting, and we haven't even touched the lifetime Nike deal that industry estimates place at around $1 billion total. That's not a yearly check. It's a long-term partnership that pays out across decades and ties his brand directly to the most powerful sports apparel company on earth. And when you add in real estate holdings, media rights, production slates, and a dozen smaller investments, you start to see the full picture. When you have that kind of machine running, walking away from $50 million in salary isn't a loss because the salary becomes pocket change next to equity deals that compound year after year and keep growing. It's practically a tax deduction. This is a model every aspiring sports business professional needs to study because LeBron didn't build his empire by collecting paychecks. He built it by converting fame into ownership. The Nike deal gave him stability. Blaze Pizza showed the concept could scale. Spring Hill opened doors in Hollywood. Fenway Sports Group put him in the ownership room. Each piece connects to the next, and the NBA salary never powered the machine. It amounted to nothing more than starting capital. At this level of wealth, the game changes completely. Salary is nothing more than operating cash flow, but equity is real wealth, and LeBron figured that out faster than any athlete before him. Legacy is the only thing left that drives a decision this big. At 41 years old, every season is a referendum on his place in history. He has 4 rings, 4 MVPs, and the scoring record. But championships are the only currency that still matters to a legacy, and the Lakers roster couldn't win another one. That's why the destination list reads like a contender's guide, not a vacation brochure. The Cleveland Cavaliers bring a full-circle homecoming. He drafted there, he won there, he left, and he came back and won again. Returning to Cleveland for a final ride would cement a narrative that no other modern athlete in professional sports currently owns. And the fans never stopped caring while the young core gets ready. The Golden State Warriors bring something different. The Bay Area is the global capital of tech and venture capital. A partnership with Stephen Curry would dominate headlines, but the real prize is access. Silicon Valley boardrooms, media startups, and investment pipelines would open doors that stay closed in Los Angeles. LeBron wouldn't just join a contender, he'd plug into a business world that prints billionaires. Miami has its own math. Florida charges 0 state income tax. Pat Riley still runs the show with an iron fist, and the Heat proved they can build championship culture around aging stars who still have something left in the tank. LeBron already won 2 rings there, and he knows the system, the city, and the tax savings inside and out. Philadelphia throws another curveball. The Sixers have cap space, a massive media market, and Joel Embiid sitting in the middle. The business infrastructure in Philly isn't as flashy as the Bay Area or Miami, but the basketball fit is undeniable and the roster makes sense. The common thread across every destination is the same. It's not the roster or the coaching staff or even the city. The real currency is a boardroom. Brian Windhorst captured the whole equation on Yahoo Sports in mid-June, and he explained in plain English that you don't recruit LeBron with a contract or any standard pitch deck because you go to him with a partnership, and that one sentence explains everything. Organizations that treat him like an employee will lose. Those that approach him as a business partner will earn a meeting. And the team that brings the best combination of championship odds, post-career ownership access, and market positioning will win. The part nobody talks about enough is this. Fenway Sports Group gave LeBron a blueprint for life after basketball, and he has already tasted real ownership in rooms where franchise decisions get made on a daily basis without any press coverage. He has already sat in those rooms, and his next move isn't about collecting another paycheck. It's about buying a bigger seat at the table. The NBA contract is just the ticket that carries him through the door. What happens after he walks through that door is worth far more than $50 million. Which brings us back to that $52 million he just walked away from. For 99% of professional athletes, salary is the entire income stream, and every decision they make, from housing to investments to retirement, revolves around that one number on the contract. For LeBron, it's the smallest line item on a 10-figure spreadsheet that most people will never see in their entire lifetime. The real lesson is total compensation. You don't judge a deal by the number on the first page. You judge it by what the full package gives you. When your brand equity crosses $1 billion, salary stops being income and starts becoming a negotiation tool that opens doors no standard contract can ever touch. LeBron isn't taking a pay cut. He's investing that $50 million in access, legacy, and partnership. He's converting money into a different currency, and the exchange rate favors him heavily. LeBron James didn't lose $50 million. He traded it for a championship shot, a massive tax advantage, and a permanent bigger seat at the ownership table that no amount of salary could ever buy outright. That's a billionaire playbook. Subscribe to Revenue Racers and stay ahead of the game.